Well, lads, today we're joined with Apprentice star and Dragon's Den winner Pamela Laird. Pamela, we're very excited to be talking with you today. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Josh. I'm excited too. Thanks for having me.
I might just bring the questions over to Sam first.
Yeah, so basically my first question is what made you actually apply for The Apprentice?
It's funny you should ask, Sam. This is definitely the question I get asked the most. And for those who don't know, I have my own cosmetics business, Maxi Loves. And at the time, I was looking for investment, and my friends knew. And my friend is a huge fan of The Apprentice, so she messaged me and said, "You have to apply." And I had never watched it, and so I thought, "Oh no, don't you get a job with Lord Sugar? I don't need a job." And she goes, "No, no, no, no. He invests £250,000." And for me, I thought, well, look, I mean, I have to give it a go. That's a huge opportunity. So I literally sent my application in that day.
Did you think that you'd get far in it from your friend saying to you that, oh, you should join this? Did you think that you would actually get as far as you would, or even get onto it?
I mean, I did not think I would get onto it. I like 80,000 people applied, mostly from the UK, and I'm from Ireland. So I flew over for the audition and was completely overwhelmed by the thousands of people that were there that day. It was such a whirlwind of a day that even by the end of it, like I knew I'd been there for hours going through the audition process, but I didn't even know if I'd made it. I had no idea. And I had 3 more auditions after that, but it was so overwhelming that I thought by the time I arrived and saw that many thousand people, I thought there's no way, there's just not a chance. And then when I did get picked for the show, I was like, sure, I could be home in a week. I definitely didn't pack enough clothes, that's for sure. So I really had no expectation. I hoped that I would, but the competition was so tight, and even the candidates that I was living with and working alongside were so good that I had no clue whether I'd make it.
How did you find working with your colleagues from The Apprentice as well? Like,
Yeah, I mean, look, some of them were amazing to work with. Some of them I'm really close to today, and we're still really good friends. And some of them were very difficult. There were a lot of characters. And I think, like being an entrepreneur, I'm so used to working alone that it was hard. It was hard to work with other people. But I enjoyed it. Overall, I have to say I really enjoyed it.
Just on the fact then, when Thomas took your place in the boardroom, what do you
Yeah.
think actually made him do that?
Gosh, I mean, look, when you're filming a task, but you don't see, it's like 2 full days of filming. And of course, there's like 4 teams. So there's myself and Thomas, there's the other side of the team, and then there's the other team, that we were up against.
Yeah.
And so there were so many hours in those 2 days that what you didn't see was Thomas like really was at fault. As much as I adore him, he made so many bad decisions, and he said, look, please let me, I think it was book the violinist or something silly. And I said, Tom, no, like we can't afford it, we don't have enough money. He said, look, if like it all goes wrong, I'll put my hands up. And I would never have held him to that, but I do think that stuck with him. And although it didn't make the edit, it didn't make the show, that really stayed with him, and he's true to his word. He's like such a genuine guy that I think he felt overwhelmed to stand up and take responsibility.
Sean, do you want to ask the next question there?
Do you have a favorite moment on the show?
Oh, like I'm torn, because I think when I was project manager on the 3rd task for toys, like I really loved that task. I really enjoyed every bit of it, and I felt like that was my moment. And that's probably still one of my favorites, but also my friend Karina made it to the final, and I worked alongside her for her business. And for me, that was such a great moment to be able to help her win and just support her in that way. That was just like I loved watching that back.
Yeah.
So then, sorry, who did you really get on with, like in the house? Because obviously, like living together for that length of time, obviously you're going to have disagreements and things.
Yeah, the one person I never disagreed with was Karina. Her and I were just very, very close throughout, and we shared a room as well. So yeah, I mean, luckily we got on. But other people, like I got on so well with Lewis. I got on really well with Thomas. We definitely had clashes when we worked together, but in the house, like, they're definitely people that I loved. And then Gemelin, I really got on with Gem, and she left me all her hangers. when she left. The hangers were scarce, okay? There weren't enough of them. And so when she left, I came home, she was fired, and you don't get to see the person once they're fired, they're gone. And pulled back my duvet and all her hangers were there. So yeah, we were very close as well.
Of course, when you get fired from it, you're going to feel like a great sense of disappointment. Was there more disappointment maybe than like a sense of like achievement or something, like, or were you kind of more happy?
Like by the time I was fired, that was a very long day. So the boardroom is a whole day of filming in itself, and specifically the final 5 when I was in the boardroom. So I think it was an 8-hour day of filming, and I think we were about 4 hours, just myself, Karina, and Scarlett, the final 3. And so it was so grueling and so tiring. But I felt like I had said everything I had to say, and I felt like whatever happens next, these are 2 amazing business women. So I didn't feel as disappointed, I guess, as if I maybe left before I had the chance to show off, my business and my potential. So by the time I got to that stage, I was relieved that it was over, and I felt like a nice sense of, okay, it was the right time to go. I mean, obviously I was like a small bit gutted, but I think overwhelmingly, happy for the 2 girls.
Yeah. If we were to just then ask, what was your actual favorite task? Because obviously you've gotten up to a lot on the show, like, you should be able to pick just one.
I think I can, because I think although I loved the task where I was project manager, the overwhelming stress was something else. Like I could barely sleep, like I was so nervous for that. But roller coaster was a really fun task. We had to design a roller coaster for Thorpe Park, and I had never been on a roller coaster, so I was just going through it, having a good time with the girls, trying to be supportive. But I was like, listen guys, I've never been on one, I'm terrified, I'm going to be useless at this task. But we had some amount of fun, and we had a great team, and we had to do like a performance at the end, and we just laughed. We literally laughed for like 2 days.
Cool.
Wondering, you can go first.
No, you go, sorry.
Okay, fine. After being on such a big show and getting a massive following, I was wondering what it would be like to have such a big online presence on social medias.
Yeah, that was something I wasn't really prepared for. I didn't really consider that. Like, I was there for my business. Now I know some people were there on the show for their personal gain. So that was something that I didn't expect. And obviously there's great things that come with that. There's so much support, and people really backed me towards the end of the show and wanted me to win. And that was amazing. But then obviously there were times where things that I did on task, the edit sometimes wasn't that kind to me. I did make those decisions, and people would say like, oh my God, she's useless. And they'd send me messages, and like some stuff was really mean. But I think, overall, like TV is very fickle and short-lived. Like your today's news, and in 10 minutes, everybody's completely forgotten about what you did or said, or, and you don't really realize that until it happens. So there are negatives, but I think overall it's been very positive. So I know I'm quite lucky.
Yeah. Josh, you want to go with the next question?
Yeah. Of course, when like we're sitting down watching The Apprentice on the telly, maybe like with like a bit of popcorn on the sofa, like we were watching like the challenges, thinking, oh, this could be easy, that could be me up there, like and like maybe was there like a time where you maybe like what task suited your characteristics and your brand more than others?
I think so. The final task before the interviews was perfume. So that definitely was a chance for me to show my skills, but also toys, because we had to create a product, sell it to retailers. And so that is what I do. Like, I make beauty products and I sell them to retailers. So I thought those 2 tasks really matched my skill set. Selling anything really, like, I was pretty confident. But then obviously there were other tasks like the scavenger hunt, which find these items on a list, like what? I've never even heard of them. So that was really where I struggled. Like, that was the worst task by a mile.
I think for the audience at home that may not know your brand Maxi Love, would you be able to explain it to them?
Sure. So Maxi Loves is a range of convenient, clever beauty solutions. So we make skincare, hair care, easy and sustainable. So all of our products are water free. There's no water content in the formulas. So you activate some of them with water, some of them are just dry. And we're in Boots, we're in Dunnes stores, we're in pharmacies across Ireland, and Amazon as well, which is exciting. So yeah, we're kind of like a lovely niche range. There's just 3 products in the range so far, with 3 more to launch this year, which is very exciting.
Yeah, we were watching your when you were on the Dragon's Den, and it's like you knew what questions they were going to ask you. Like, you seemed so confident, like, and yeah, like, how did you get up there and like seem so confident in front of them? Like, because I would think it would be like a very nerve-wracking experience.
Yeah, and honestly, it was very, very nerve-wracking. Again, like, you see like 10 minutes and it was 3 hours, that I was standing there for. And there was something I did before Dragon's Den that I think was amazing. And I think everybody, if they have an opportunity to do that, or if they've any public speaking, I went to what's called the communications clinic. And so I'd written my Dragon's Den pitch and I was like, this is what I want to do. And they film you. And then they role play as a dragon, and then you watch it back. And there's honestly nothing more cringe, more awful. Like, I didn't even need them to critique me. I could see everything that I did wrong, everything I said wrong. And like, what a really interesting skill is that, when you present, you can control the narrative based on what you say and what you don't say. And so I thought that was it was a great skill, great thing to do, and it really perfected the pitch. And I also had to be concerned that like this pitch is going to be aired to potential customers at home. So I really wanted it to get across everything, not be focused on any negatives, which if you've seen Dragon's Den, sometimes it can go completely in a negative direction, be very much focused on something that, the business owner wasn't expecting. And so I tried to control the narrative as best I could. And it just worked very well. Like, I know I was lucky that they liked the product, but it was a lot of preparation. And I think I didn't just stand up there and go off the cuff. And I think that's important for people to know. I did put a lot of prep into that pitch. So I'm glad you thought it came across confident, because it was just very rehearsed, which helps.
And just another question there. You seemed that when you were on the Dragon's Den that you had your product with you. And for me, like, obviously a teenage boy, my sister is just getting into like makeup stuff, and she obviously needs a bit of practice, and I think it's truly like an unbelievable product, in my opinion. Like, such like a unique thing.
Thank you. Yeah, it was something that really I developed working on photo shoots. Now, I don't know whether you know, but that product has to be discontinued, and it has been, unfortunately. And it's because the EU have banned single-use plastics in cotton buds. So I got very little notice of that, but there was a viral photograph of a seahorse clutching onto a cotton bud, and it really made the general public and the world aware of what happens to cotton buds and how little they end up being recycled because they fall through the sifts. And so it was really hard for me to say goodbye to that product, because it was my hero product, and anyone in beauty will tell you like how amazing it was and great to use. And I'm determined to bring it back in a more sustainable form. It's difficult as a small business to do that right now, but I loved that product, and it started my brand, and it gave me such great opportunities. So it's unfortunate that it's gone, but I appreciate that you think it's great.
I might just bring the questions over to Sean there now.
Did you always know that you wanted to work for yourself? And if so, is there a certain reason?
I think I did always know. It's probably just my parents, both my mum and dad had their own businesses. My mum had a beauty salon since before I was born. So I definitely grew up with that. And I always had a job. Like, my friends didn't have jobs. There was only 1 or 2 of us. And I loved working, but I think I realized that I wanted to work for myself, having worked for other people. I just had this vision. I knew what I wanted to do, and like, I wanted to leave school. Luckily, my mum wouldn't let me, but I was like, I want to do this. Like, you can't tell me otherwise. And I don't know. I think it's in you. Now, I know a lot of people can, end up owning their own business later in life, but I think it's definitely something inside that you just have that determination and drive to do your own thing, and nothing out there fits what you want. So you kind of carve it yourself.
Yeah. And do you think like there's a certain set of skills that you need to grow a business? And like, what are they, if there are?
I think not necessarily grow, because like, I'm currently looking looking for investment at the moment and a business partner. And I think that that's a real, you know, opportunity to help me grow. But I think to start a business, what you really need is like no fear. My first order was 60,000 units. I had no one to buy them, but it didn't even occur to me at any stage that I wouldn't sell them. It never crossed my mind that this wouldn't sell. Now, maybe that was silly, like probably was, but I think that's what you actually need to break through, because a lot of people have great ideas, but they don't act on the ideas. So I always remember this saying, feel the fear and do it anyway. And I know I'm on the right track when I'm making a decision in business if I'm a little bit scared, because it's a risk. But the only way you're going to get anywhere in life with working for yourself is to take a risk. And every day there's risks, like constant risks. And so dealing with that pressure is also helpful. But I think it's just not having that fear, believing in yourself above all else. Like when the facts are telling you no, but you just have this belief that will, stand to you. And that's what pushes you beyond somebody else who just has the idea and never acts on it.
Yeah. Sam, do you have any questions?
I suppose just kind of to finish up, when you started out in business, like how young were you, or like was it always a dream of yours?
Yeah, I mean, like I left school, I just turned 18 and I opened up my own nail bar. So that was my first business. I ran that for 4 years. And then it wasn't really bringing me joy anymore. And I didn't feel that I could give it my all. And I had turned, it was my passion to do nails, but it was my passion to manage people. And that's what I ended up doing with that business. So I left. But even prior to that, when my mum had her beauty salon, I wanted my own range of makeup. Now there was about four of each product, but it had my name on it. It was like Pam's Kisses was my brand at the time. I was about 7. So I cringe a bit at that now, but I think that obviously is where it all started, that like want for my own, stamp on the world or my own beauty product. So yeah, that was the beginning.
Okay, perfect. Thanks so much for coming on today, Pamela, and talking to us. It's much appreciated.
Thanks so much, guys.
Yeah, so
Thank
we'll just end
you.
it there, I think.
Thank you.
Perfect.